Welcome back, everybody. Heartbreaker in Dallas. Sad game, but we fought. We fought this game. Very close game. Real winnable game too at the end there. Um, but hey, we're playing meaningful basketball. We played a meaningful game tonight. We are unfortunately no longer the 6th seed. We are the 7th seed
Good
again.
ride though. Good ride.
It was fun. It was very fun. But yeah, it was sad. And Carson in the chat says I'm feeling oddly sad after that one. To be honest with you, that's how I was expecting to feel, but I think I might be okay. My initial overreaction slash maybe underreaction is I'm not as mad as I thought I'd be. What about you?
Well, sad is not mad.
This is
I've
true.
been mad so many times throughout the years at games that close out like that, just like that.
Mm.
Uh, no, I'm not mad. I am sad, but it was good vibes for the most part up until this game, and it just felt like we weren't in any sort of rhythm
Mhm.
outside of that first quarter, and so my feelings were that we had to gut this out. We had to grind this out. That's exactly what we were trying to do. And Dallas was just imposing their will on us defensively. And so I was struggling to figure out how we were going to create offense. What were they looking at doing? So I was just here stressing, eating my nails, and we kept it close in that fourth quarter. That's kind of all I can ask. Maybe a couple calls going our way, a couple shots going in, like the Jalen Noel layup.
Oh
Maybe
gosh.
Torian Prince hitting something in the fourth quarter. That could have been our game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really could have. And I think the thing that's even crazier to think is that it could have been our game. And I mean, the first 3 quarters were not necessarily great basketball by us. Now, I will say that to your point, that's a lot more of Dallas's defense was way better than I expected. Maybe I'm just not paying attention, but they were incredible. I thought their defense the whole game um, was pretty spectacular. They also ran that play over and over and over again until Dwight Powell fouled out to lob it up to him or pass it out to the wide open 3 point shooter. And that worked for them many, many times. Um, and it has worked for them many, many times against the Timberwolves forever. Literally, this is just this. This is the play that has crumbled every version of the Timberwolves roster. And the first half, I was frustrated, but we were only down 6. Uh, I it is hard not to be super super frustrated after a game like this just because you're hoping for, if you win tonight then you have such a good shot at the 5 seed. You have even I mean you're really like solidifying that 6 seed. But I think I at the end of the day, although I'd be much happier with a win. I think this is a team that I feel like I haven't seen before, other than this year. I mean, we've seen this team this year, um, but this was a winnable game, and I think that's a win. But and I know Dave Benz was very, very distraught at the end of this game, which almost brought me down. But we're at least in the plan. Okay, I know that's not something that we want to talk about, but like we are in the plan, and we're basically a lock for at minimum the 7 seed. So really the 1 seed in the play-in. So that's good. That is good. That was beyond our expectations. Not that we should settle for our expectations. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I keep saying the same things over and over, but I realistically, I'm just not that down right now. We have 2 tough games coming up, which could get me a little down. But even still, like even worst case scenarios, like we're still 7 seed, maybe even 6 seed, because like Denver doesn't have a great schedule going into the regular season, so could be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like both of us are going to struggle to kind of come up with words or like anecdotes or kind of like sayings to kind of like summarize this game because this has kind of been a game we haven't seen before in a
Mm-hmm.
long time. We struggled, we persevered, we endured, and we almost won the game.
Yeah.
Kind of all I really wanted to know. Like,
Mm-hmm.
can we hold up to the barely above us Dallas Mavericks? Are they for real? They have a center in Dwight Powell, and then they just have a bunch of 3-and-D dudes in LUKA, right?
Yeah.
So I don't understand how they get as much as they do with the amount of players they actually play. They only play 8 players. And the mileage that they've been doing for about a month plus, the 12-3, the 15-6 since like the All-Star break or whatever the crap it was. It's insane. The start of the game was pretty incredible though. D'Lo was like, fuck this, I'm just going to take this game over.
Yeah.
LUKA had nothing to do with the game. He had 4 turnovers in the first quarter. I remember just like being like, whoa, this guy's playing sloppy. If it weren't for Dwight Powell's jams and like easy layups, right, that we just like let them have, that would have been a really really tough quarter for them, and a deficit to overcome. However, we didn't really take advantage. I feel like Cat could have been all over this game, and I didn't feel him tonight. Vando didn't really impose himself in this game, and to the point where we didn't even play Vando. We barely played him, and with the exception of a couple minutes there, I didn't really feel him. That's kind of maybe my summary of tonight's game, is that lost in this game was our identity, whatever that is. We didn't have a free-flowing offense. We didn't have a 7 seconds or less high-octane offense. We were disrupted, and we took the entire game to figure out something. And if it weren't for, Beverly's antics and Torian Prince getting hot on occasion, we would have been out of this game.
Yeah. I see Godfrey in the chat says Wolves up 3 with 3 minutes left in the game. Yeah. But the Mavs are a good team. I don't think we should be too down on ourselves. This is a good team, and we got to see a playoff game tonight. I know that maybe both sides weren't playing like it was a playoff game, but it was pretty darn close. I'd say this is like 85% of a playoff game. This win meant a lot for both teams, and I think that was especially evident in the end. Going off of your points though, we only lost the game by 2, and realistically, those last 3 minutes that Godfrey's talking about in the chat, those 3 minutes could have gone either way. You talk about that, that Noel lay-in, which barely rims out, and then we get a foul called on him. So there's these little plays like that, where if that doesn't happen or if that goes in, that changes it. And to go in a totally different direction, Ant missed 2 or 3 layups tonight. So there's your game if you really want to go off of that. And yeah, Cat did struggle tonight at times against Powell for some reason. He was able to somewhat come back in that fourth quarter, which he's been doing lately. Yeah, I don't know. I guess to kind of summarize my last thoughts on just generally in the game before we get into super specifics is we played a playoff team tonight, and nearly won at their arena, which is what we're going to have to do if we are the 6 or 7 seed. Also, by the way, it is not impossible for us now to get the 5 seed. It's just highly unlikely. We'd have to go on a crazy win streak, and Dallas would have to go on a crazy lose streak. Maybe not crazy, but we would have to win. I don't even know how many games we have left at this point. Is it 8 now? 9 or 8? It's gotta be 9.
I think it's 9.
Yeah.
I think it's 9.
Which, by the way, 6 says in the chat and has pointed out that 52 wins is no longer possible.
It's nigh impossible.
Sad.
Yeah, it's okay. I feel like the 3 minutes and 23 seconds left in the game is telling. You'll recall those plays and lack thereof, and execution flaws, and Cat stumbling on himself on defense, and seeing Bullock hit a 3 just on repeat. We saw the story over and over and over again, right? But Cat didn't adjust or couldn't see it coming. Not blaming him. I'm just thinking, man, this is going to be a great test. Can we respond to the next Dallas game? Because that's going to be they just exposed us. They just exposed us. We are a high flying shooting team and transition oriented team. And they didn't let us have that. They didn't let us get any points off of turnovers and 0 points off of second half, barely any points off of, second chances, and, transitions were barely there too. And when we did have them, D'Lo flubbed a layup, Ant flubbed a couple layups. There's so many little things that we could fix. Then again, we're here at the stage of the season where we're flexing and we need so many things to fix.
Yes. Yeah. Wombat brings up a good point in the chat. Why would we want the 5 seed? And to be honest, that's kind of a good point. Here's the thing though, is that the Mavs, they obviously play quite well. And the Jazz aren't necessarily playing so fantastic right now. I don't think it's impossible the Mavs could even sneak up into that 4 seed, and that the Jazz fall down to the 5. But yeah, at this point, not that you don't want to win. Like obviously, you want to be winning. You want to be beating good teams because that's what the Timberwolves have not done for such a long time, and that builds culture. Like that's gonna build that winning culture that we talk about. And playing the Mavericks, it was a winnable game tonight. So yes, it would not be a terrible series. It would be probably a really good series. Both teams are very interesting, but the Mavs probably do scare me more than right now than the Warriors, more than the Grizzlies. So those are matchups which I do think are better for us and honestly more likely. So, yeah. Hypothetically, if we beat Memphis, we are either going against the Nuggets or so that's the other thing, Wombat, is that if we are in that lower bracket of the playoffs, the 3-6 and 2-7, then we don't have to go up against the Suns. And I know that the Suns are not like some crazy unbeatable team, but they just win games. They just win all the time. It's pretty crazy how much they win without Chris Paul. With Chris Paul, doesn't matter. They just win. So I would want to avoid their bracket, along with, if the Mavs are going to be in the 4 or 5, then I don't want to be in their bracket either because they obviously look pretty solid. But yeah, either way, we're likely going to be having these conversations. I'm still super nervous about playing games just because one and done games are scary, especially for a team that really doesn't deserve to be in the play-in this year. The Timberwolves have played better than a play-in team this year. And if you look at the play-in, if you look at the 7 through 10, it's pretty laughable how much better we are than the Clippers, the Lakers, and the Pelicans. I believe the Pelicans are still in, but it's insane. Our record, what are we, like 6 games above the Clippers, 10 a bunch above the Lakers and the Pelicans. So, yeah, just disappointing. But no, I'm content. These are just testing games for us to see how we are going to look in the playoffs, and if this is how we look in the playoffs, that'll be interesting. But to your point, Friday will be fun. How do we change our game to not allow Dwight Powell to go off for like 30 points?
Yeah,
we can't.
That is a pickle. We don't have size, and when we do have size, we don't really play both of them. Like there was 1 or 2 plays where we disrupted it. Beverly got up high, and then I think Vando got up high and disrupted the lob. And LUKA plays so slowly that you can kind of see it coming 5 seconds and before, and all you need to do is get over the screen, and then that's all it is. But I don't know, and get high hands in front of LUKA's face. And Beverly did a cool thing where he was like disrupting him before LUKA even got past half court.
Yes.
We were learning and discovering and kind of like figuring things out in a game. And it was very noteworthy because I learned a lot watching the game, but we just have a lot to do still. I can't trust Cat as the last line of defense. I don't think I ever will, but I don't know if I'm really trusting him as that first line against LUKA now, because LUKA, like, he's been lauded as like able to guard the perimeter, but self-lauded, I guess, but he's unable to. It looked like LUKA could have whatever he wanted to on Cat. And even Jalen Brunson like drove by Cat with ease. And so then if you're not guarding the first option, well, the second option is obviously the lob, and we're not guarding that. Well, we're giving them what they want, and so they didn't do much, 2-point, fadeaways or long twos or anything like that. They did exactly what they wanted to do, and we gave them what they wanted. We didn't stop them. With that being said, we made some amount of shots. We tried several types of lineups out there where we had no star out there, and then when we had all 3 stars out there with Noel and Beasley, that's crazy. Or Ant is playing the 4. We tried so many things, and you got to think like some of it's starting to fall into place. But you know, have we been discovered? You know, did Dallas just like show the rest of the NBA how to really take us down?
Yeah, I mean, I, I think matchup wise, kind of it's just an interesting team to play against because they have Luka, who is this James Harden-esque creator that we've kind of wanted for Anton ways, but he also has this crazy deep three. It's not like a three from the 3-point line, it's like a three from 5 feet behind the 3-point line. So if he gets switched onto a big, which they always try to do, especially in the first half of this game, Towns kept getting out on Luka beyond the 3-point line, and Towns kept kind of staying further back from him because Towns, as we've seen, is not as fast as he used to be when he was like first couple years. So now, I mean, Luka can either blow by him, or just take a step back, and he's very good at the step back. So he can take if Luka's on. We just have to double. And the only time that it was super successful to guard him was when we had Ant on him late game. Ant was on him a couple possessions, and it looked like Luka was struggling. So that was good, but they always are going to try to make that switch, you know, unless they absolutely can't. One interesting thing I'm noticing looking at the stats here, the Timberwolves actually shot significantly worse than the Mavs tonight. The Mavs, I mean, it felt like that, but like the Mavs shot 48% and we shot 39%. We actually out rebounded them, both offensively and defensively. Or maybe no, just offensively. We had 15 offensive rebounds to their 7, so that's good. But they had a couple killer offensive rebounds.
It was like those punt outs or whatever they do.
Yes, it's so weird, and we just weren't ready for it. You know, it did strike me a little bit at times like a team that maybe didn't fully game plan for all the possibilities. Because, you know, Jim, Pete, and Dave were talking about the back tap that they do, and these other kind of plays that they do, and it seems like we just weren't necessarily ready for that. We weren't ready for the switches that Luka was doing. It was tricky. Dirty Mondo in the chat. Welcome to the chat, by the way. Says, take this L from Dallas. Refs tried to help y'all, but y'all still suck. I can't tell what you're saying.
He's just saying a bunch of nothing. He's trying to troll, but it's not really working because it doesn't matter.
They're a Mavs fan. Sorry, I was thinking they were a Timberwolves fan. I was like, what are they saying? Yeah, you whooped us all by those 2 points, which we almost beat you with Patrick Beverley alone.
Yeah, with Patrick Beverley missing a couple free throws on purpose.
True. But yes, no, Luka is big brain. You have
8 turnovers, 9 turnovers. What was it? Big brain.
Yeah, big brain.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it was. I mean, it was a very even game. But other than the shooting, and if we had a little bit better shooting, that helps us a lot. You know, missed layups.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. But
wasn't that fourth quarter, the start of the fourth quarter, the most bizarre shit you've ever seen?
I can't remember what happened exactly.
It was just nothing but Taurean Prince.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily against it, but he kept missing. Like because like his corner threes have been good. He tried from both corners too, but he missed both. And then bringing Beasley in after that was like, oh my gosh, Finch just loves Beasley too much. It's crazy. But then he slammed that dunk. It was just really interesting.
The whole fourth quarter was interesting.
Yeah.
But just that beginning section where it was just nothing but Taurean Prince, I was just hoping that with D'Lo out there and with Beasley out there, maybe we'd look at some other options. But oh well.
Marion Bay. Look at us from only having 3 to 5 live viewers now to having trolls from other teams. Yeah, I can't believe.
Look how far we've come. We've made it, my friends.
We have made it. Look at that. That's pretty special. Thank you, Dirty Mondo. I appreciate your trolling.
Yeah, Godfrey, a couple of awesome points here in chat. Saying that he's surprised how big Luka looks. And yeah, the girthiness of Luka is noticeable, but you know, we missed the Jaden out there. We had Vando in early foul trouble just trying to stop Luka. As small as Ant may have looked, it felt like Beverly, smaller than everyone, was doing the most harm to him. It was pretty interesting. just getting in his grill and just like fronting him, and it was really interesting. Or like, like fronting him at the point of attack, I guess.
Yeah, Dirty Mondo says Luka too chunky to be contained.
A little chonky, a little
Kind of
chonky.
true, kind of true. But yeah, I mean, Pat Bev did get in there a couple times and got the loose ball and called that one timeout. That
That
play
was sick.
that was sick, but at the same time, that
Oh yeah.
lost that timeout for us, so we couldn't take one. Given, I mean, the Mavs ended up taking one anyways with like 3:30 to go. But that's just one that Finch loves to keep, and so that was kind of a wrench in the game plan for Finch a little bit. But obviously, you want to have the possession more than you want to have that last timeout. So I think it's valuable, um, but yeah, kind of crazy. But you gotta stay for the tier list. Well, we might be getting to the tier list. Are you ready to move on to the tier list?
I think I'm ready to move on. Yeah, we had an over under game here. D'Lo, very very bipolar game from D'Lo, but he was set at 17 and a half points and he went over barely with 18. I don't understand. I don't get how the big boy does it. Beasley with over or under 8.5 3-point attempts, apparently only 3. Luka under 5.5 free throws made, only 2. And if the Wolves had 5.5 players or less in double digits, and they went under with 4. So those are our over unders. If you guys want to have some fun in the chat, you can join us in Discord. And that's my plug. Sorry.
That's our plug.
That's our plug.
Like the video, join the Discord. But yeah, the Discord's kind of fun. We have this over under. Shout out the big boy, just like Ashwin was saying, all those stats. I'm so surprised that Luka didn't get more free throws tonight. That was really surprising to me. I thought he was not the same like treatment as like a Joel Embiid or James Harden type of deal, but I thought like he just gets to the line, like Dirty Mondo saying in chat, like he's too chunky to be contained, so people have to kind of slap and foul him. Not to mention his step back threes. There are plays where he's going to get fouled, and he only went to the line 4 times tonight, so that's kind of crazy. He only went to the line less than his amount of makes that he was projected to get, so kind of crazy. But tier list time. I don't know why. Again, I have not been paying attention too much. This is a bad order. It's probably not accurate, but it's there. If you're new here, which I know one of us is new here, this is our nightly tier list. We do this. So A1 means that this is only based on tonight's performance. A1 means it's an unforgettable performance for the Wolves. We'll never forget it. Like all-time performance. Wancho is worst game you could have had, basically. Glenn Taylor is you always have the worst game possible. C is exactly what we expected out of you, which sometimes is weird, but yes. All right. Well, we'll just jump right in. You want to do what we normally do, where I just kind of go through the bench and then we'll
go ahead and talk about them.
Sounds good. So the bench, the bench was interesting. So Ashwin brought up a great point earlier about how our lineups were kind of funky a little bit, which I was super surprised in such an important game for us.
Yeah.
We
still discovering.
Yeah, it's like we're still doing this now with like 9 games to go. Well, I guess it's better than the playoffs, but but we started the second quarter with no D'Lo, no Ant, no Cat, and nobody was really in foul trouble either at that point. Usually we usually take lately anyways, we've been taking D'Lo out with like 6 minutes to go in the first quarter, and then he comes back with like 2 or 3 minutes left and goes into the second quarter. Not tonight. It was just the bench going out there in the beginning, and it wasn't great. I will say we maybe stayed afloat, but it wasn't it wasn't like it wasn't that great. It would have been maybe better with a D'Lo. However, I've been so iffy on D'Lo lately. But anyways, onto the bench. I think I kind of wanted to start with we'll start with Naz Reid. So Naz Reid, he had 5 points, a rebound. He was 2 of 4 shooting. He had one crazy dunk, but he was a -13 team low -13. That's when he was out there with that lineup. It was just kind of weird. Dirty Mondo will subscribe to us if we win the next game against the Suns. Oh boy. Okay. Well, I appreciate that.
Next game against the Mavs.
Yeah. Oh, Mavs probably. That makes more sense. Okay. Um. Anyways. Um. So Nas
Nas
tonight,
Reed.
I'd probably. I mean, like, I don't think it necessarily. Man, I guess I'm leaning towards like a C minus or a D. This is close to what I expect out of Nas. He's had some better games recently. I don't remember anything super bad, but I'm sure that there's something I'm missing. So I guess I'm more so leaning towards like a D plus. But
Well, I will give Finch credit. He played Cat the most I've seen recent times
yeah.
here. He played majority of the second half. I don't think I remember seeing Nas like at all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Nas had a three, Nas had a dunk. That's all Nas did, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's it.
Yeah,
See, that's it. That's all we can care about,
I
really.
think that's fair.
I have nothing else. Sorry.
No, and that's okay because I wanted to get to Jordan Mclaughlin next. So Jordan Mclaughlin, 14 minutes, only 2 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal.
Yeah.
Only 1 of 3 shooting. Did have 3 personal fouls, but dare I say, I really like J Mac's game lately. Is that crazy to say?
No, he's been awesome for us.
Yeah, he feels when he's out there, I feel good now. It's so strange because before I hated it, and right now he's just becoming this player that is like you've said this countless times now, but like he's just so speedy out there. He changes the pace of the game, which again to another one of your great points. Like we didn't have our flow, we didn't have our pace of the game out there. I mean, we're a team that's scored 120 in like the last like 10 games basically.
Yeah.
Um but having him out there changed it, and even though he doesn't contribute that much in like the stat column, he gets those steals, he gets those rebounds at times. You know, he has this weird ability and he's so fast. This is kind of a flash of, it's so stupid to say, but like vintage J-Mac. And it's fun as like a backup option. So I guess even though the stats aren't necessarily there, I kind of want to give him a B tonight.
Yeah, sure. A lot of the mistakes we made in the second and early parts of the fourth quarter weren't his fault.
Mm-hmm.
He was just there kind of doing Finch's bidding. And also like he plays well with D'Lo, but we didn't really get to see a whole lot of like cooperation or coordination with between them, right? It was him running the show or trying to just get out of the way in a lot of instances. I think they also double teamed him a couple times and kind of like frustrated his drives.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a couple really cool like drives to the lane, like a floater over like Kleber or something, which was really sick. But like, yeah, while we're not really looking for offense from him and production from him, his stat lines have been really solid all season long.
Yeah.
Better and better as the season's been like ending here, winding down. We need more maximum effort from JMac here.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to see. I'm fine with the B, I suppose.
Yeah, I just really liked it tonight. When I was watching him when he was out there, and I'm like, I just feel like everything he's doing is what we need right now.
Sure.
And I don't know if you saw it, but D'Lo and him almost did that play at a point. There was a point where J-Mac was doing the kind of no look, but the defender, I don't know if the defender knew, but the defender was kind of like accidentally in the right spot to block it. So D'Lo kind of waved it off and went off and passed it off to a different 3-point shooter. But either way, interesting. I was waiting for that play to happen tonight, and it almost did, but it didn't. So
Tough assignment to guard Jalen Brunson, Spencer Dinwiddie,
yeah,
right? Luka Doncic on switches. Like that's just hard. So
especially for somebody that's like literally 5'6".
Yeah.
But yeah, Taurean Prince, 23 minutes, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 6 of 16 shooting. Holy cow. Second most shots on the team, tied for second most shots. He was 3 of 8 from 3, only 1 personal foul. Taurean Prince tonight, I guess this is kind of a weird one because like obviously the point production is there, but it took a lot of shots to do so. I mean, 16 shots for 17 points isn't great, especially as a bench player. But lately his shot has been good. So I'm kind of in that maybe honeymoon phase of like, you know what? You take those shots. I want to see this. I believe in you. So that's where I am right now. But at the same time, even though the points maybe are a little bit better than I'd expect, the shooting's not. And defensively, though, he was able to do a little bit. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of, all in all, I'm kind of thinking a C tonight.
Yeah, I would say the way that you've been talking up J-Mac, I've been kind of feeling the T-Pain train here. I've been really enjoying what he's been doing because outside of him, our bench looks inept. Our at times,
Mhm.
our bench looks young and looking up and wanting to learn and gather and reassess. Whereas T-Pain has been like our bench unit sitting there and saying, "No, you follow me."
Mhm.
And yeah, in moments where we didn't really have anyone to go to, like he was just like, "I'll step up." And a couple plays I didn't really like when he was like on a 1-on-3 transition layup
Yeah.
that didn't get called in our favor. Of course, there wouldn't be a foul call there. And a couple of like weird, wonky drives to the rim as well. His 3-point shot has been interesting. I like him shooting threes.
Mhm.
I like him closing out. I think he plays a really big role for us defensively, especially when Vando's in foul trouble, Cat's in foul trouble. Prince is out there like being a bigger than himself kind of player. And so I would say B. I just don't like the amount of shots he got tonight, and a couple of the shots I didn't want to see. But now here we're nitpicking on a 2-point loss,
Yeah, yeah.
and when maybe we could have had other people shooting. I, at least
Maybe.
someone has the balls to shoot. There were some plays that were so idiotic where like Ant would drive and then kick it out to someone else who would pass it back to someone else, and then it would be like either not a shot clock violation, but just like an almost an automatic turnover
Yes, I know
or
what you're
something
talking
really dumb. Like Torian Prince is just, I'm taking a shot. I just subbed
Yeah.
in and I'm taking the shot.
Yep.
Like there is no rhythm. I'm just getting it up
Yeah,
because
it's
that's what he's been paid to do.
exactly. And it's what we see from a successful Malik Beasley is when he
Yeah.
just he catches and shoots or just makes it happen. It just he doesn't dribble and start moving around a bunch. That's when it starts to get a little ugly at times for Malik. Sort of similar for Torian, but Torian has a little bit more of an ability to finish at the rim, which he was a little too confident in tonight. The play you're talking about where he drove 1-on-3, didn't get the foul call. He tried that a couple times too. Um, Frustrating to see, especially in such a close game. But I mean, again, we're nitpicking in 2-point loss. Uh, I think I could be convinced. I don't even know. We didn't. I forgot to ask this. We didn't do a tier list in the Discord tonight, right? No. Okay, you're muted, but you said no. Cool. I'm up to a B now after that conversation. I think it's fair. I do think it's closer to a B minus just because of the percentage, but that's again, it's gonna happen with shooters. You're gonna have nights where they shoot a lot and don't make a lot. There's gonna be nights when they shoot a lot and make a lot. So I will
Yeah.
live and die by it. But
Speaking of shooters, in 14 minutes, we had Jalen Noel shoot 4 times,
oh, I skipped.
all of one free throw, all of one 3-point attempt, but he went to the line 4 times, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 6 points. Um, this was, I wouldn't say better than expected, but the stat line is better than I expected. I wanted more offensive gusto from him, and he wasn't like assertive enough, and maybe they were just swarming him in ways that I didn't really like see. But I don't know, like that's awesome to see other ways to influence the game and not fall into the Andrew Wiggins trap of, well, I'm just an offensive player, I'm going to sit in the corner and wait. Getting those 2 assists, those 5 rebounds, those getting to the line 4 times, it's impressive. We need it. We need more of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably say a C though overall.
Yeah, I'd probably say a C as well. It was a game where we could have used some really clutch Noel shooting, and I think this is why where we're seated right now makes a lot of sense. And I'm not saying the 7 seed specifically, but like the 6-7 ish area is a good place for us because I think our starting five is pretty solid. I think we have a good sixth man and seventh man with Beasley and Prince. Although, actually, I'm forgetting about Jaden. But what I was gonna say is that usually these really high quality teams, like a Dallas, and everybody above them, they usually have like 7 to 8 solid guys that they can totally rely on. If one of the starters went out, they'd be able to easily. I mean, other than like say LUKA or Cat or something like that, a player of that level, they'd be able to easily fill in. Like if Dorian Finney-Smith was out, they just bring in whoever is off the bench and they'll be fine, kind of. And I feel like we're at like that 6.5 mark, kind of. Jaden obviously is good. Jaden is one of those players. Beasley most of the time lately has been, but not always. Torian Prince has been honestly a pretty consistent as well. So we're kind of in that range, but we're not fully there yet. If we had if we could have this Jalen Noel type player just be a scorer every night and they'll make those 14 minutes really really count, that'd be great. But yeah, I agree. I do think that it was a C performance. This is close to what we expect out of him. We hope for more, but probably what I expect. So
Easily 28 minutes, 3 for 5 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3. I was expecting to go on the over there with Beasley threes. 3 assists and 3 rebounds with 7 points. So this was something that was super crazy to me. They game planned for Beasley. They were double teaming Beasley. They were denying the pass to Beasley, and then Beasley never got off. Beasley never got into a rhythm. Beasley was irrelevant. Beasley was put into the corner and left aside, where we saw Beverly shoot more threes, and we saw Beverly do a couple ISOs, and we had other people try to take shots where they weren't comfortable. It was crazy to see, and I don't think Beasley had a chance in this game. I wanted to say have him run like JJ Redick and get more open shots, the way that they gave Bullock or or whatever the fuck they say, the amount of shots that he had. All of Bullock's shots were from 3, and he went 6 for fucking 11 from 3. That's crazy. We didn't have that from our dude, our 3-point specialist, So they took us out of our game. We gave them theirs.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, no, I agree with the Malik Beasley points. Usually if we see this kind of a line from Malik, we kind of blame it on Malik. They really just took Malik away from this game. They were on him, and they didn't allow it to happen. He had that one kind of crazy dunk, which came as a surprise to both us and Dallas. But he wasn't able to do his normal Threesley play. I think the over-under was, what was it, on the amount of threes that he was going to take, like over under 9 or something like that?
Yeah, 8.5.
Yeah, 8.5. There wasn't opportunities for him to shoot, and if he would have shot, it would have been terrible. It was bad. So this was just a game where they game planned specifically to be like, yeah, no, Beasley's not going off tonight. We'll let Torian Prince. And of course, the night that happens, Torian is not making his shots.
Wow, maybe they said, hey, Torian Prince, you take these shots. Yeah, and that should have been Torian Prince to say, all right, I'll see your game and I'll pass it back to Beasley. Maybe Torian Prince needs to go down a notch. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely on the fence for me between B and C, but I do agree with the points about defense for him. I do see Carter in the chat. TP took too many shots in the second half. Yes, he did. By the way, welcome to the chat. But
what's up, Carter?
We were just talking about him a little bit, and I won't go on about him forever. But I do think that TP has that ability. I mean, think of it. If he makes a few more shots, he's 9 of 16. That looks pretty good, And especially if he's making those threes in the beginning. I think it was the beginning of the fourth quarter. If he makes those 2 corner threes, this game is totally different. The game, everything about the fourth quarter is different. We put pressure on immediately. We had so much momentum at that point, where Dallas was kind of spinning their wheels a little bit. But we just couldn't. And you know what? That's what's going to happen with shooters like this. So it's good that he's at least got some defense for us. He's not just totally like Beasley's out there as just a scorer. Torian can at least provide a little bit of defense for us. So. Beasley though, grade wise, this is ridiculously difficult to grade. It's almost like a non-grade because they took him out of the game. I almost feel like it's unfair to give him a D, but at the same time, he's the one that lives and dies by shots, but he couldn't even get him up. I don't know. Hey, what do you think?
Beasley is someone who needs to be cradled a little bit more than other players. He doesn't get the ball, and when he gets the ball, he needs to shoot. And when he can't get his shot open, he doesn't know how to really pass out of it. So if he's able to drive to the rim, that's good, but usually it's bad. So getting out of that chaos is good, but I think it's a C. If not, for 28 minutes, we didn't see him out there. It could be a D even, but yeah.
I am definitely on the fence about that one too, but I'll leave it at a C for now.
This has been a really weird game to assess, and I don't even know if we're getting to any sort of resolution with these grades. I'm not confident about any of these grades, honestly.
I'm fairly confident about J-Mac. The Nas one, I guess, is it's difficult with the players that play very few minutes.
Yeah.
Jalen's also is a tricky one. Yeah, this is a weird one, I guess. But we're gonna get into the starters, where I think we're gonna get maybe a little bit more confident. Maybe, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I guess maybe we aren't. But we'll start with I have it in the wrong order here, but let's start with Vanderbilt. Let's do a 3-2-1 for Vanderbilt. But first, I'll read off his stats. He only played 14 minutes, as Ashwin mentioned earlier. 4 points, 8 rebounds, 2 of 3 shooting. Did have 4 personal fouls. Are you ready to grade?
Actually, no, but I'll try anyways.
Yeah, no, I was like, maybe I need to think about it for a second.
Yeah.
I think I'm ready, and I think we're gonna be different.
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1. C.
We're the same.
Okay, perfect. I'm wrong about everything tonight.
Yeah. On that note, of being the same, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and comment below. And when you comment below on the VOD,
yes, what's the secret word?
Cameron, what's our secret word today?
Oh, dang it! I thought you had one.
Leaky tent.
Oh yeah, I don't know. What should it be? There was like a tornado warning or something, so tornado. I don't know.
Storm watcher.
Yeah, I was
storm chaser.
I was watching the radar a little bit, but we'll do tornado. We'll do tornado. Yeah. Whatever. It's dumb, but that's the only word I can think of on the spot. That.
But if you do, we'll give you 5.
Content, yes. Anyways, Vando, both gave him a C. Yeah. For Vando, I think this is me guessing, so I'm sorry if I'm putting words in your mouth or words in other people's mouths. But I see where Vando has struggled a little bit lately, but I feel like we're still getting a lot of the same Vando. We got a lot of those really high quality rebounds, I think in the second quarter, or maybe it was late first, where
it was all in the third quarter. Everything that he did was in the third quarter.
Okay. Well, I saw him come out there, and I get that. I understand that he's not like full game Vando mode, but like he still is having Vando plays where he's saving plays that no one else is going to save for us, maybe Patrick Beverly, but like he's just getting those rebounds. There was one rebound that he got where nobody was moving around to get open for him, so he had to throw it away anyways, as he was falling out of bounds. But I don't know. I'm not saying that I think Vando's been like some crazy motor for us lately, but I do think that we're still getting some of the Vando plays. Last thing I'll say about him is, this is a game where you'd much rather have a Jaden than a Vando in. Just because when Vando's out there, you're lacking a scoring option, and the Mavs play deep. All of them play defense basically, and if you don't have 5 scorers, it gets tricky. So that's more of a Finch thing, but slash Jaden injury thing. But I guess, are you feeling a little down on Vanderbilt lately?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel actually about him long term. Even throughout the rest of the season, I'm looking for something more electric and exciting. And what isn't happening is what used to happen with Vanderbilt. And he's been injured or hobbled or on and off the court. He's not the same player, and he's young, and we shouldn't be like burying this guy in this role that he wants to play or doesn't want to play or has to play to get a contract. Unbelievable effort when he's on, but like tonight, where he was an absolute zero in the first half. Zeros abound except for 4 fouls.
Yeah.
And then the third quarter, something was like ripped into him, where he got 4 offensive rebounds, 4 other rebounds. He got a couple, I think he had either the dunk or that like put back or whatever. And okay, that's cool. But then you didn't see the court for the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's hard, right? It's hard to get like into a rhythm, but then it's hard to get like onto the court when, your role to stop the LUKAs, to stop the Bullocks, to stop the Powell when Cat is on the perimeter isn't happening.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm struggling with C even. I wouldn't even mind putting him as a D.
Yeah. I guess, maybe what I should be looking at is his minutes, because his minutes speak volumes to what Finch is thinking of him, what the whole coaching staff is thinking of him, and what the other teams are dictating us to do.
Yeah, totally.
So maybe I need to be looking at that versus just like, oh, look at that cool rebound.
Dude, on that note, why is it always us conforming, adjusting, reacting, like preventing the other team? Like, why are we like adjusting? Why
It's
aren't they adjusting to us? Why aren't we imposing our will?
it's
I don't
yeah,
I don't always get that.
it's what I've said all season. We play to the opponent's pace, we play to their speed, we play to their style. And when we win at their style. It is not like we suddenly come out and it's like, whoa, there's Timberwolves basketball. Like the only thing that I could really attribute to this team this year that I'd be like, wow, this is what I really remember about this team is certain individual defensive performances. Like there's been Ant defense that has been really good. Pat Bev, Vando at times, Jaden. We've got or Torian Prince. We've had like more of a defensive identity at times. But even still, like we still, those are more like individual plays, not like schemes or things like that. Like we just play to the other team, and the scary thing to say out loud is that I feel like it's kind of like the big three that we have just doesn't have flow together. Like I think like there's just not much synergy on the court with three of them.
You're right. Yeah, man. It's a big three, but it comes and goes per game. Like we'll have Cat being that one always, and then we'll have Ant one game, and then he'll fall off for 10. We'll have D'Lo on for a quarter, and then sag off until a Philly game, and then sag off for 15 games, and then he'll have 5 or 6 games of incredible defense and whatever. They're never all on at the same time, so it puts a lot of pressure on the other players, like Vando, like Jaden, like Jalen, like all of our teammates, and they've been picking us up. Vando's been kind of an outlier now because we need him more than ever, and it just feels like the wear on the season has gotten to him. So,
yeah, this is what scares me the most going into the playoffs is the way we play against certain teams, and conforming to them, and injuries. I don't want to get hurt. I can't remember who said it a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was just a week ago now, but I certainly don't want to be limping into a 6th seed, and I'd rather be healthy going into a play-in game.
Totally.
Because what does it mean to go into a 6th seed, like a 6-3 game, when Vando's out, Jaden's out, Ant is out, D'Lo's out even maybe. Like I don't want any of that to happen. I want to be full strength, and see what we're made of, even if that means a 7 seed play-in situation, 2 play-in games, losing both. I'd rather play healthy than, if we play injured, we're just not going to do well. So anyways, we gave Vando a C, but honestly maybe it is a D.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm honest, Cameron, this is maybe my worst show since I've started here, because on these parts around here, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know how I'm grading these players, because I want to judge them based on this performance alone, but I didn't see anything like noteworty from any player tonight.
Yeah.
Outside of Beverly?
Yeah, Beverly is pretty much the only one that had like notable plays. Like,
yeah,
I really remember almost all of his game, which is funny. Maybe we should talk about him next, because Bev played 31 minutes, had 8.7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block, but shot 2 of 10.
Yeah, that's right.
It did have,
and that 3 that didn't count.
And that 3 didn't count. Yeah, that was too bad. 4 personal fouls as well. I think. Oh God, I just hate these gradings tonight.
This grade will be brought to you by Windows Concepts.
Window Concept, thank you, Window Concepts, and whoever works there. 3, 2, 1, C.
B. I got it as a B, and like I said, I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel confident. I don't feel like I'm here to tell you what I saw. I saw a dude willing the team back into the game.
Yes.
I saw a dude like caring about the matchup enough to say, LUKA, it is not going off. It's going to be the others. Can my team guard the others? It looks like not. So when I get switched, I'm going to D the fuck out of Bullock.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Beverly out there manning up the way that we need it. We need any and all players to do so. The only issue is we come out of the half, and the very first shot was Beverly shooting a three. we had an ATO, and Ant drives to the rim and then dumps it off to Beverly for a three.
Yeah.
We had Beverly take a couple just, ISO threes. I don't know. Like, that is not offense. Mm-hmm. That's not what we like signed him up to do. And while it's great, that's also telling. That's saying that like Dallas is like saying, all right, Beverly, you can do this. We're not letting anyone else go off. And I just struggle with how we can't respond. We can't react to their defense and get our shots, Mm-hmm. Well, Beverly saw those openings and took him. But he's not the offensive threat. So it's like, that's awesome that you took those opportunities, just like Torian Prince, right? Mm-hmm. But like, we're not here for this. And that's why it's like, it's actually why it's not an A. Mm-hmm. Because he killed it defensively. I don't care about those fouls, those random plays that he did and did not do. Like, he got into LUKA's face and disrupted him, where LUKA could have popped off for 30, but he didn't.
Yeah. No, I loved your first point about him willing us to win. Yeah. You don't look at the stats and say, wow, he willed us to win, but he did. He was out there defending everyone aggressively, and although he did have 4 fouls, it was still a really, really good performance. And it put pressure on the defense. He had it says, oh yeah, he did have 2 steals. I thought it said he only had 1. I was like, I remember 2. He's just, this is just what, and I guess this is kind of why I was closer to a C, is because in my mind I was like, this is close to what I expect out of him, even though he was the one that was willing the team to the victory. And then he did have those plays at the end of the game that nearly beat us or won the game for us. But then you look at the shooting, and it's like 2 of 10, 1 of 5 from 3, and a couple of those go in, you win the game. So and you could say that about any player tonight, but like there are players that didn't shoot well that sometimes do for us. Pat Bev is somebody that's been shooting quite well from 3 for lately, anyways, and only 1 of 5 tonight. Torian Prince, although he went 3 of 8, which isn't terrible for 3, he went 6 of 16 from the floor. So you have a couple of those. One of those 2 players just shoot a little bit better. That's it. But not that I'm putting the blame on Pat Bev for missing shots or something like that. But
I in a lot of ways, I'm putting it on Finch.
Yeah.
Right. Like, actually, with like 10 seconds left, why is Beverly out there? Like, we need a 3. And like Beverly is smart as hell to get that offensive rebound and almost get that putback and
seriously,
one. Right.
I would have lost my mind if that happened.
Yeah. I just don't know why he's out there, and why is he the one who's going forward, and why is Cat hitting the ball towards Beverly? Why is that not Ant? Why is that not our shooters?
Mm-hmm. Also, is that legal to even do? I thought you couldn't push it like that.
Yeah, you can. I don't know shit. I don't know anything.
I don't know. I don't know either. But
it was a very savvy play, but also like,
oh yeah, for sure.
Ultimately that went to Beverly to shoot a 3. That's like, I don't know.
Yeah, the one other thing I will say, Godfrey brings up a great point in the chat. It was a close game. Beverly played good D, but Dallas did miss a lot of 3-pointers. They had plenty of opportunities to get, just absolutely slam dunk this game home, by 20 plus. And that would have been by them hitting all those threes that they had open. But they still hit a good clip of them. I guess I'm trying to pull up the stats right now because I can't remember exactly what their 3-point percent. I know we shot better.
30%. They went 30% from 3, but they almost shot 53s, and they only shot 83 times. Like, that's a fucking. This game is changing, man. It's like all they did was layups, dunks, and 3s.
Yeah, they're the new aged Rockets.
Right.
Yeah, I guess. So you gave Beverly a B.
Yeah.
A question,
but did I don't know if I let you even talk about Beverly.
I did talk a little bit about him, and I don't have any more thoughts. So if I didn't talk, I said it to myself. I mean, it's hard to argue that he wasn't one of the better players of the game. So I'm going to move him up to a B. It has to be. So,
Yeah. Let's
um,
move on to D'Lo because
perfect.
I got pretty frustrated with him throughout this game.
Same.
After a really red hot like first stint, despite a couple turnovers, uh, he faded hard into the background. Where Godfrey said one of his first comments, and he's a kind of very critical of D'Lo. He's been like so he was supportive of D'Lo tonight, but also it's hard to support him when he's like not
Mhm.
he doesn't show himself. 6 for 16 from the field, not so shabby. 2 for 6 from three. He went to the free throw line a few times. He got 5 rebounds, 4 assists, couple turnovers, a steal, 18 points. Kind of like last game, right?
Mm,
It feels eerily similar to last game.
yes.
You have a grade for him?
I think I do.
All right, in 3, 2, 1,
D.
B.
I will say I'm a little bit closer to C than I am Wancho, but
Yeah,
and I do think that this game was maybe just barely better than the last game, um,
just barely.
but just barely.
Yeah,
I mean, you kind of live or die by D'Lo, and I kind of hate it, because he takes these shots that like these transition threes that
that's
sure
transition three. Fuck, man.
like that would have been killer, of course, if he makes that. That's like such a heartbreaker. I've always said this about D'Lo. He makes those shots that makes the other team just go like, oh my god, what are we even supposed to do? But when he misses those shots, it's a spark for the other team, like, wow, we just got a free possession,
Yeah,
and they go down, score, and it's like, you can't have that happen in an important game. I think regular season, that's kind of like oh well, whatever, you were trying for like this crazy momentum play. But in like an important game like this, of course I wanted to be confident and shoot confidently. But man, that's just a killer play, and multiple things like that happen in a game. I'm not saying that D'Lo had some insanely terrible game, but like the defense is not really there for him. Early season, it was very easy to praise him on defense because he was so vocal. But like defensively, I just haven't loved his defense. Not that I ever have, but like it's just not good. It's a liability.
yeah.
Um, and although he scored a little bit tonight, it's still it's just not the quality game that we need from D'Lo. Um, so yeah, I don't know. It's such a weird night to grade, but it's just weird.
Yeah, I really was very frustrated with him. You know, last game against the Bucks, he was kind of a no-show until that fourth quarter where he got like 7 or 8 points, and then like he was one of the main reasons why we pulled ahead and won that game. Um, Here we are, $30 million player, and I don't know what I'm getting from him.
Yeah.
That's frustrating. And then when he's on, it's great. When he's passing, oh fuck yeah,
Yeah.
4 assists tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, D'Lo, but what happened? What happened? Why wasn't any? And why were we passing to Towns in a double team to
Yeah.
begin with? Why was Towns in this position? Why couldn't we get other players open and opportunities? I felt like Ant didn't show up to play partially because we weren't getting the ball to him. Why wasn't that happening? I was. Where did the pick and roll go? Where
Yeah.
why did they, why did whatever defense they have stop that, thwart that? Like, why is Dwight Powell this all of a sudden this like all-star center that says we can't run our offense?
Mm.
It was frustrating, and I think a lot of that is, D'Lo, the ball's in your hands to begin with in this game, and you set the tone and you set the pressure that they will ultimately respond to. That was awesome that you just took it on yourself to make those shots, but then I didn't see anything else happen.
Yeah. Yeah. There wasn't a lot to write home about from. I mean, this is a lot of players tonight. We just didn't have a lot of memorable plays. Which, I mean, if you're the absolute optimist, you could look at it and be like, "Wow, we had kind of not great game, and we only lost to the Mavs by 2."
Yeah,
um,
that's what we
but
should probably be like, but I'm just like, I don't know.
yeah, it is. I mean, because it's a trend. We see these things. We see these. D'Lo has not been great lately.
Yeah,
I mean, we've had some other trends, and even though we have been winning lately, we have played some good teams in there here and there, but it's certainly not like, wow, we just beat like 10 teams over 500. No, we played a bunch of bad teams, got a lot of confidence from that, which took us over and beat some better teams. But even those better teams had players sit out. So tonight was like a real night, and we couldn't capitalize. Even though for the most part, other than Jaden, we were healthy. So I think it's valid to have these concerns, but I do think it is important to still stay positive. Like we're at 42 wins with 9 games left. Even though we're looking at seeding right now. I mean, Denver's got a crazy schedule coming up. We still play the Mavs, so I know I'm getting a little bit more general than specific, but I guess all in all, I am somewhere in like a C to a D for D'Lo. You said C?
I said D.
Oh, you said D. Yeah, I said D too, I believe. I think.
You did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he is D-low tonight.
He is very low.
Right.
And speaking of which, I'm kind of getting a little low energy now too. Like the more and more I'm talking about this game and these players, the more and more dejected I got. Like I left this game being like, I'm okay with the loss. But the more and more I feel like we could have kicked ass.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like something happened where I didn't see Ant at all. I didn't see Towns at all. I didn't see Russell at all. What were they doing? I might have to rewatch this to some degree, but I kind of don't want to. Also,
I'm the same way because my memory was what it's serving me is like I think the Mavs truly for 3 quarters played very, very good defense against us.
Yeah.
That and not just like they contained Towns, because if I remember specific plays where I was like, okay, are they just seriously locking up Towns and we can't figure out an option? No,
Yeah.
They would quickly double Towns. And then they would quickly double whoever else got the ball, whether that was Ant or D'Lo or whoever. They were just swarming the whole night. They had high effort the whole night. And the only way that we got any wiggle room in the fourth was like scratching and clawing our way back into the game, whether that was Pat
and Dinwiddie falling down. Yeah.
Yeah, we just had to. Everything we had to capitalize on. And we capitalized on like 80-90% of things, but not 100. So
right.
They just played crazy good defense. I don't know if that's something that is normal for them. I don't watch the Mavs regularly. But if this is normal, then they will be the 5 seed, if not the 4 seed. So I'm still not too down. But yeah, looking at these individually player performances, it's tricky because like almost everybody had less of a night than we would hope for. So
reading a little bit about on Twitter, like what D'Lo said. Apparently, D'Lo, Cat, and Finch were interviewed post game, and there was a lot of angst or frustrations with the officials. I have to be honest, I didn't really feel them at all tonight.
I felt it only near in like the fourth quarter at a couple times, but I was like, it didn't feel so. I mean, I feel we've had way worse games than tonight. If tonight was a bad night, I do think that there's something. The only thing realistically that I have a problem with anything tonight is, luckily, no one got hurt tonight playing on a leaky roof floor, where the water was dripping literally on the Timberwolves bench in front of the players. I thought it was kind of ridiculous that they played. I was for sure thinking this game was going to be postponed after it was delayed by like 25 minutes. I was like, no way. But apparently it stopped. They did have to stop the game once to do that. That was the thing that kind of bothered me. I was like, I don't want to be playing this game worrying about if Towns is going to like twist an ankle or like, Ant goes down on his knee or something,
Right.
That seems ridiculous. Or on the other side, I don't want to see the Mavs get hurt. I don't want to see LUKA get hurt or, apparently Powell, like their star. I don't want him getting hurt. So it was a scary game for me. I'm glad that didn't happen, but no, I didn't feel that strong an official presence this game. I didn't feel that crazy. But league game.
Anthony Edwards, 38 minutes, 5 for 13. That's low. That's just so fucking low. 3 for 5 from 3. 7 free throw attempts, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. No defensive stats to really speak on. However, he was a body on LUKA.
Yeah.
19 points though. Are you ready for a grade?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
C. Yep, this is what I expect.
That's what I expect.
Great defensive game. Offensively, he was able to score at times. He missed a couple crucial layups. Well, maybe not crucial, but he missed layups, and that's like just something that we've seen as a trend over the last like 10, 15, 20 games. Um, and good to see him get to the line a little bit more. Shooting wise, that's kind of what I expect. I'm glad that the 3-point shots weren't like insane tonight. I guess he was kind of on though. He was 3 of 5 from 3, but yeah, this is just what I expect out of him. I hope for more, but what I expect.
Dude, I'm just looking at the starting lineup for the Dallas Mavericks. 6 for 11 for Bullock, 6 for 11 for Dorian Finney-Smith, 8 for 8 for Dwight Powell, 6 for 10 for Jalen Brunson. What? That's like
Yeah.
80% shooting.
And LUKA was 5 of 17, so we were like, yeah, no LUKA, but
No,
everybody else
and
free for
Dinwiddie.
all, which is just not what you can do. You can't
Yeah.
do that with the Mavs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I give. I mean, there's really not much else to really say on Ant. Strong defensively, but offensively was meh. Not terrible, but also nothing to write home about. Again, the kind of the theme of the night is just like there's nothing super notable about anybody's individual play. But
It's funny because Luka plays so slow and within himself, but I felt like the game was played faster than Ant could handle. For his age, for his legs, for whatever reason, he was slow tonight. Slower to the reaction, slower to the ball, slower to get his shot up. Just a step out of sync. And maybe it was just from the afternoon game to now, like having the layover in Dallas and like not knowing if they were going to play and having that delayed game. Like that could throw anyone off. So I'm just going to make any excuse for Ant. Yeah. Team high 38 minutes, and I didn't really feel him except for those 2 threes he made.
yeah,
And that like killer layup, that killer Euro layup. But like,
yeah,
I don't know, man.
the
You
layups
could
they
just
have
dunk
to
those
go.
layups.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing that I don't understand is why aren't we dunking those layups?
Yeah.
For one, you're even if you don't make it, you're likely gonna get a foul call, and two, you can make those dunks. It's not like you're doing some insane like Blake Griffin dunk from like outside of the restricted line or whatever. Like these are like you're at the basket, just dunk it or just put your hand over the basket and drop the ball. Like these aren't plays that need to be crazy finishes off the backboard or anything. Like I know Jim Pete was going off about how Ant like practices all these different angles in English off of the backboard to get like certain angles, and it's like let's just get the ball in the hoop. I don't care how it goes in there, just get it in. So frustrating, but meh. So Cat, last player tonight. 37 minutes. He had 22 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, a block. He was 8 of 17. So he actually, this is so strange to me. He took the most shots on the team tonight, but I feel like he didn't.
He didn't. Yeah.
It's
Totally.
so weird. 8 of 17, 2 of 6 from 3. Only got to the line 4 times tonight. He was a team high plus 11, though. What a weird night. Are you ready to
What a
grade
weird
this?
night. I'm ready for a grade. Are you?
I think so, yeah. 3, 2, 1, C.
B?
Yeah, I don't know. So I say C,
C.
just
I'm saying C now. Yeah.
Okay.
What am I fucking thinking?
Yeah, I was like, that's pretty positive. I say C just because this is pretty close to what I expect for now, anyways. Towns has been able to he took over a little bit in the fourth quarter. It was maybe not as much of a takeover as we needed, but like he was making plays. He was driving, making layups. He was hitting threes. He did take one bad 3 in the fourth. It was kind of weird with like 2 defenders kind of on him. Weird.
Hated that shot, man.
I kind of understood it for a second because it was like he had the 2 defenders and they were being like screened into each other, so they weren't necessarily like actively guarding him. But
he got
like,
the ball so low to the ground.
Yeah, he still had both of them right in front of him. It was weird. Obviously it's kind of like a D'Lo shot. If it goes in, fantastic. If it doesn't, I hate it. So,
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
But no, this was just a regular game. Towns, I will give him a little bit of slack because the defense was clearly like we're not allowing Towns to do much, but they were kind of like that with everyone. So,
it's gonna be like what it's gonna be like in the playoffs, man.
And he's got to learn with it. Which I mean, this is a better performance than we saw in the playoffs that one time he played. But,
all right.
But yeah, Godfrey's got the salary numbers and everything worked out. Cat 22 points, salary 30 million. Powell 22 points, salary 11 million.
They both made 8 shots.
They both made 8 shots. That's all that matters. True though. True. Yeah. I guess my final thoughts on Cat are just this is what I expect. So I'm not saying that he had a terrible game. But I'm also not saying it was a great game. So I think
He had that monster dunk, put back dunk, and he had that dunk on LUKA. That was awesome. He had a couple threes that were super timely. I wanted him to take over the game. Never felt it. Never felt any moment where he could have. Like, I saw several times where he could have taken over the game. And I don't know. For the guy who played maybe the most on out of anyone here on the team, I'm expecting you to take over the game. I didn't see it. I wish you did. And in a game that meant so much, you had it circled. You knew exactly what the repercussions are of this game. You talked about how you pay attention to the standings. This is a letdown.
Yeah, it is a letdown. And the team hyped this game up like crazy, too.
Oh my God.
It was kind of insane how much they were like, everybody's saying, this is the most important game of the season. Like, we have to take this home. And like, I'm not denying that it wasn't an important game. Of course it's an important game. If we win this, things get really interesting come Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah, right.
But you know, it's just crazy how much they hyped it up. And not to say, I mean, we didn't fall flat and do nothing. Obviously, like we lost by 2 points. Again, I think that's
true.
I do think it's important to remember. It is a down feeling because like there was a belief in my head that we might seriously beat the Mavs twice this week and make ourselves just this crazy interesting team. But if there's anything I've seen from the Timberwolves this season,
we're not that interesting.
Is that we can bounce back. However, we have a very tough schedule ahead of us to bounce back on. This was the first of 6 games against, I believe, all 500 or better teams. We play the Suns at home on Wednesday. Last time we played the Suns at home, we lost by 1, I believe. And then we play the Mavs again on Friday at home. That's good. And then we go into some less crazy games, but I mean, at the same time, like we play the Celtics on Sunday. Celtics have been good, and we're playing at Boston. And then we have a couple days off, but then we play Toronto at Toronto.
They've been on fire.
And then to finish off that last 6th game that is like a trickier one is Denver. So that is going to be a super important game. But, you know, it would have been really nice to win this one because, you know, losing, I mean, if we lose to the Suns on Wednesday, things get a little scary. Again, I mean, if we lose...
Scary in the sense that if you're wanting to look for a 6 seed.
Yeah. If you're looking for the 6 or 5 seed or something like that, you're very disappointed if we lose even one of the next 5 games, you know, because it really is going to take the Timberwolves going like 8-1, 7-2 or something like that in the last 9 games to get a chance at the 6 or at the 5 seed. 5 seed probably is unreachable just because Dallas has a really easy schedule going forward. The 6th seed is not impossible, and at this, you know, I've said this, but Denver has a tricky schedule here coming up. It's very similar to ours. They play a lot of good teams, but Denver has won a lot of games lately too. So have we, but they've beaten good teams. And they've shown that ability to, even without some of their players that are injured right now. So it'll be interesting. After this game, I want to just get a temperature check. And I guess I'm kind of asking myself this question as well. If you had to predict right now, like your life depends on it, where do the Wolves finish at the end of the season?
7th seed, and we do the play-in, and I don't want to talk about the rest of it, but we're in the play-in.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, I didn't even mean to go that far, but yes, I think if I'm guessing, I think it's the 7th seed. I think the 6th seed is very reachable, and to be honest with you, we may finish within a game of the 6th seed ending the season. Do
we have a play-in tournament for the play-in tournament?
Yeah, really.
Cameron, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Is Wednesday a must-win?
No. It depends on the way you're looking at it, I guess. Because if you're looking at it in like we absolutely need the 5 or 6 seed, it could be. But I don't know. I wanted to win tonight so that we could lose Wednesday and not feel bad, um, and even lose Friday and not feel as bad. Um, yeah, that's a tricky question. I guess I'd lean towards no, just because we're gonna have the seventh seed no matter what. So and that's the sixth seed is still possible, even if we lose on Wednesday, even if we lose on Friday. Just because I do think that Denver is going to lose some games here. It's going to be kind of a losing battle for the next few. Um, but I think that Denver just has a little bit more experience to be able to pull out some games against better teams that'll get them to the sixth seed. So even if we win on Wednesday, I don't necessarily think that that means, wow, we're gonna definitely have the sixth seed. But it definitely puts pressure on Denver for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to put all my eggs in one player, one basket, like as much as I like am rooting for Jokic in the Nuggets, I would take Cat and what he can do on a nightly basis
Mm-hmm.
over what Jokic can do. Like in terms of like taking over a game, like he takes over the game in multiple ways, but like I don't want to put my trust in Bones Highland and all those other shooters that are non-shooters.
Yeah, yeah.
I trust the Cat and him, his ability to take over, and then hit the shooters around him. But that being said, I think Wednesday's a must-win opportunity because I don't want to go down into the play-in like frowning, mad at each
Yes.
other,
Yes.
like pointing fingers, like what is this culture that we built up for? Was it nothing? Was it fake?
That's
Because
exactly.
going 3-6 is going to feel pretty terrible. We've gotten this far, and if we go 4-5, it feels a little bit better. If we go 5-4, I'm feeling a little bit better about our
Mm.
chances to get potentially sixth seed, but at least feeling better going into the playoffs. I
Yeah,
think Phoenix, without Chris Paul, without Cameron Johnson, and a couple other players, is beatable.
I
I
think so
feel
too.
I feel like it. They're playing lights out. They're playing super inspired, but like I think they're beatable. They're Devin Booker to our Patrick Beverly. Like, let's see it happen. I think Wednesday is a must-win game, and I want to see us redeem ourselves from this 2-point stinging loss
Mm-hmm.
because it's gonna be etched in their brains, and
I'd
then we're
agree.
gonna have this potential like crest where we're gonna win again on Friday. If Wednesday is a win, we're gonna win on Friday, and that's how I feel.
Okay. Yeah. Um, I will say I don't know if I can say that it's a must win, but I will say that I agree with you in the fact that I don't think it's impossible that we beat the Suns on Wednesday. I'm not viewing it as like, wow, we're playing like some insanely unbeatable team. I do think it's quite beatable. One, because they're injured, but two, because I think um, if our player at home for one, and two, we have play defenders that can stop players. Um, I think it's possible. I don't think it's as lopsided as people think it is. I certainly hope that I am not proven wrong in that statement, but I think there's a fair chance that we win on Wednesday, and then even Friday. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the stupid Mavs schedule, and I'm like freaking out. Okay, there we go. So the Mavs, yeah. So here's the Mavs schedule. They only have five. No, that's in March. Never mind. Oof. I was like, no way. The Mavs, their next game, of course, is against the Rockets. Then they play us again. And then they play Utah, Lakers, Cleveland. So the end of this month isn't like smooth sailing for them, but
Their
but if
April sure is.
but what is
Their April sure is.
yeah, their April is easy. And Denver's schedule here for the end of the month. Denver plays tomorrow night against the Clippers on TNT, so I'm definitely gonna be
Let's
watching
go
that.
Clippers.
Let's go Clippers, please. And then they play the Suns on Thursday. So wait, so we're on the first night of the Suns back to back.
Oh, bitch.
Dang. Okay. Well, if we beat them, then they're going to be very motivated to win on Thursday.
Yeah. Oh,
Then
yeah, right.
they play OKC, which is probably a guaranteed win. The Hornets, the Pacers. Oops, I thought I was going to the next. Then they play us, Lakers, Spurs, Memphis, Lakers. So, wow, they have Lakers. Yeah, it's It's gonna be a wild ride, but I do think we probably end in that 7th seed unless we have to go on a run. We have to win
We have
games.
the hardest schedule out of the three.
Yeah, we definitely have the hardest schedule out of the three. We need to win games that we're not supposed to win, and that could have started tonight and it didn't. So either way, I know that sounds very down, but I'm still in a pretty good spot. I think even if we lose a couple games coming up here, it's very possible. I do think though that we need to win one of these next 2 games. We can't lose both games, both at home against the Suns, even though they're a good team, and the Mavs, even though they're a good team. We can't lose 3 in a row like that. So,
right.
anyways, I will be back for Wednesday night. I will be at the game Wednesday night, so I might not be back right on time. So we might have to be a little late to start the show on Wednesday. But if you're new here, subscribe to the stream, ring the bell, or whatever that thing is called. We do shows after every game, and we're definitely going to be doing play-in, hopefully playoff conversations. We'll be doing lots of content then, talking about every possible thing, not to mention all the off-season stuff that we'll be talking about. So we will be having some fun games, more meaningful basketball coming up here. Do you have any final thoughts before we send off until Wednesday?
Thanks for sticking around for 90 minutes after the game.
2 full Zoom sessions.
That's a little crazy. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Yes, Wednesday, as tradition, but sadly ends tonight. 52 wins is no longer possible. But on to Wednesday. Let's see if we can beat the Suns. I will see you Wednesday night.
See ya.
Intro is the outro. Good night.